welcome back to the U-Man channel. My name is Oliver, and today we got a little bit of an interesting experiment. I was starting on a project, and one of the things that this project called for was that they needed you to bottle the finished product in a amber type glass bottle. And I did not have any amber type bottles laying around. All I had was clear. So I had the idea to see if it would be possible to powder coat them. Now, powder coating glass is obviously a problem, and I will explain that here shortly, but I think I found a way to get around that, and I'm going to give it a shot and see how it turns out. Powder coating is an electrostatic process, and the way it works is that you have a powder gun, and you connect a terminal to a metal rod that's running across the top of this booth here. And I have a metal hanging rod here which conducts a negative charge into the metal part that you're hanging off of it. The system also puts a positive charge into this spray gun, and then as the powder sprays across it, you'll see there's a little metal tip on the top of this nozzle, and that puts a positive charge on the powder. That way, as the powder goes across the part, the negative charge on the part attracts that powder and puts a nice even coat on it. Now, for what we're going to do today, glass is obviously not electrically conductive, so I had to find another way to do it, and I did that by heating up the glass to a point where as that powder sprays across it, it's going to instantly melt onto that glass and adhere to the part. So we got the glass hanging in the oven right now, and as soon as that's heated up, we're going to bring it over here and I'll show you how well this ended up working. Oh, and one more thing. Before we head over the oven, you want to make sure that you got all your powder coating equipment set up and ready to go, because once we get over here, we don't want to give that glass a chance to cool down too much and then not take the powder. So we're all set up here, got our powder hooked up, got our air on and set to the proper pressures. So we're ready to go get that glass and throw some powder on it. After thoroughly cleaning the bottle, getting all the stickers off of it and removing all the glue that was left behind, I sprayed it down with some carb choke cleaner and cleaned it off real good with a clean white cloth to get all the oils and any residue off of there. And then I made a special hanger for it, which I will show you shortly, and I put it into the oven as the oven was preheating. This gives the glass a chance to heat up and be able to accept that powder as it hits it and melt right to it. So we're going to pull this thing out of here and get it over to the powder booth. My bottle of choice today is a Rabbit Hole whiskey bottle. Okay, got my handy dandy hook, got the glass here hanging, and we're ready to start shooting some powder. And today we're going to be doing a, what is this called? Steel blue. See how that powder is melting right to it as it's sitting in the bottle. You can also see a change from the powder color to almost the finished color. And that'll do it. Now we're ready to go put her back in the oven. Well, Managed to get it back in here without dropping it and breaking it, which is good. So now we're gonna let it finish baking out. I got the oven set at 425 for a 400-degree surface temperature, and we're gonna leave it in there for about, I'd say about another half hour or so, and we'll check the temp with the laser pointer, and if it's all done, we'll let her cool off, and I'll show you the finished product. Well, somebody seems to have walked off with my laser thermal probe, so I decided just to let it bake an extra 5 or 10 minutes. So instead of half hour, it's been in there about 35-40 minutes, and based on experience, I'm pretty confident that it's been baked enough. So what we're gonna do now is just shut it off and open it up and let it cool off. Get you guys a little closer look at this thing. Boy, that looks nice. So now we'll let it cool off and we'll pull it out and see the final product. Just want to show you real quick how I hung that bottle into the oven and on the powder booth. What I did was I took an 1/8 inch piece of stainless rod and I bent it into this shape here. So to put it into the bottle, you got to stretch it like this, insert it down into the hole, and then when you release it, it grabs the inside of the neck and holds that bottle in place. I went with the 1/8 inch rod because I tried some skinnier stuff and it didn't want to hold it. So find a good piece of metal, bend it into this shape, and that'll hold your bottle in place while you're powder coating and baking the bottles out. And here we have the final products. Did the other couple bottles first before I did this last one, just to see if it would work before I showed you guys. And after I got the blue one out, you couldn't really see the rabbit, so I figured I'd dress it up a little bit with some red and white paint. Well, that was fun, and it actually turned out better than I expected. Honestly, I was thinking that one of the problems with the glass being so smooth that the powder might run off of it and drip. But with that hot glass, it took the powder right away, and there was no running or dripping at all. Out of the 3 that I did here, I think the Redemption is my favorite. It's a bronze powder, and it has, you know, the raised embosses on there with the little rye on the bottom, and this color makes it look like an old military canteen. So I think that's the favorite of the bunch. The rabbit hole turned out real nice too. That God, I can't talk. That gunmetal blue looks really nice, and it had the recessed rabbit and hole on the bottom there, which allowed me to, you know, just drop some paint in there and dress it up a little bit. And the silver vein is also really nice. It's it gives it a little bit of a texture, but this Pendleton bottle is just kind of plain and doesn't really have anything to dress it up with, but it's a very cool look. So I hope this helped you out and maybe gave you some ideas of other things to try. One of the things that I learned from this, in addition to the fact that you can powder coat glass, is that if I have difficult parts to powder coat, I think I'm going to try heating them up and see if the powder gets into those difficult corners and sticks a little bit better. It doesn't always adhere into those tight corners or complex shapes. So maybe putting some heat on that before we shoot them might get a better result on even those metal parts. So again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a good weekend.